They asked me to pay £425 to repair a £340 product. So this, I'm afraid, is one of those where I tell you a bit of a story. And in this one, I'd be interested in what you think. Am I overreacting? Am I being unreasonable? I don't feel I am, but as I would always say to a client, it's always better to get someone else's opinion. And so that's what I'll do here. What do you think? Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. So I obviously buy a lot of camera equipment to do these YouTube videos with. I mean, initially I just bought it for some photography and doing bits and pieces, but then when I started YouTube, which is probably about 18 years ago now, I started buying more and more cameras and lenses and microphones and all sorts of different things. Just a few years ago, I switched from Canon to Sony. I think it was Casey Neistat, among other people, that I saw using Sony cameras. So I thought I'd try them out. They looked really good. So I bought the A7S III. Now I'm going to tell you the pricing of these things in a minute, in case you're interested. Just to put all of this into context, this video is about a microphone that I bought from Sony, the ECM-B1M, which is a shotgun microphone which sits atop the camera. You can't plug it in with a wire. It connects directly to the camera electronically. And I bought this, if I switch to show you the screen here, I bought this for £340. Now, a £340 microphone, one might expect is in the professional range, sort of. I don't know. I mean, most of these cameras are at least that much. Most of these microphones, excuse me, are at least that much. Now, this one, by way of example, this is the Shure SM7B, which is arguably the most popular podcast microphone in the world. This is £330 currently retailing on Amazon. I don't recall what I paid for that. Probably something in the same region. So 330. So we're looking in the same sort of bracket as this microphone from Sony. This was £340. So I used this microphone probably 4 or 5 times. No exaggeration, because the majority of my videos I do using this microphone here and the Rodecaster Pro 2. I have lots of other microphones that I've been using for a long time. Before I used this, I used the Canon camera and I used the Rode. This is the VideoMic Pro Plus. Really good microphone, really nice rounded deep sound. I really liked it. Sometimes I also use, where are they? I also use this is the DJI Mic 2. Before that, I still have it. I have the DJI mic, the normal ones, which the first version. This is the second version. In between those, I had the Rode Wireless Go Plus. The reason I'm telling you this is I have lots of microphones. I've used lots of different things. I've spent lots of money on them, and none of them have ever failed. But the point is, I've only ever used this one from Sony, this one here, 4 or 5 times. Now, when I bought it, now this is the bit you can tell me what you think. Just to give you a little bit more context here, I've spent a lot of money with Sony. For example, I have the 14mm prime lens, which is this one here. That was £1,400. This is currently connected to the ZV-E1, which I use for vlogging, which was a little over £2,000, £2,200. I also have the 12 to 24mm lens, this one here, which is what I'm using now because it allows me to go very wide and zoom in as well. That was £2,700. I also have the 24 to 70 lens, which is this one here. That was £2,000. I also obviously have the A7S III, which I'm recording on right now, which was £3,800. So someone's got a calculator. You can work out what I've spent with Sony. This microphone, the one that I'm talking about, was £340. Not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things with what I've spent with Sony, but kind of stings when it goes wrong, which is what I'm about to tell you now. So I used it 4 or 5 times. Now you might remember, you may not remember, if you watch any of my vlogs videos on Black Belt Secrets, 1 or 2 people highlighted to me that there was a clicking sound in some of my videos. And at first I thought it was because I'd got it set to animal mode. It's got an AI to detect animals as opposed to humans. It wasn't that. Then I thought it was because it was on product mode, because it's got a product placement mode and the settings here. So I thought it was that. It wasn't. So, and then I thought it was something to do with the autofocus settings. Am I doing something wrong? I was going around in circles, and the long story short is there's a fault with the microphone. Now, having only used it 4 or 5 times, and I know there's a fault with the microphone because when I first bought it, you may remember, you may not remember, I did a direct comparison test with this one because I was thinking, is it any better than this? I mean, I was really interested. So I did a direct comparison with this one, and they were about the same. If anything, I think this one was a little bit more warmer, bassier, but not by much. But overall, I think the comment section said this one, some people favored this one, 1 or 2 people favored the Sony, whatever, not the point. There was nothing wrong with it when I bought it. There was no clicking sound or whatever, but later on it developed its clicking sound. So I stopped using it. Now, the key here, I thought it was under warranty because if you look down on this website here, it says, register your product on My Sony to receive an extended warranty. So I registered it, and then I took the serial number, I put it in the serial number checker, and it gave me a date of November next year, I think, November 2025. Long story short, I was wrong about that because the warranty checker took part of the serial number and gave me, apparently, according to Sony, apparently the end date of a warranty for someone else's product, a different product, and my microphone was not, in fact, covered under warranty. So, having sent it off for repair, here's where it really kicks in. They asked me to pay £425 to repair a £340 product. Now, I said to them, this was on the phone, I said, do you not realize how silly that sounds? Because the retail price directly from Sony, this is without any third-party seller discounts or deals or whatever, the retail price directly from Sony is still £340 for a brand new one today. £425 to repair mine is obviously ridiculous. So that went back and forth for a bit. Now, they did come back 2 weeks later to say that I can replace it for a discounted price of £145. But I still think that's a little bit silly because why would it cost £145 to repair a microphone when they are the manufacturer? And secondly, I've only used it 4 or 5 times. It shouldn't go wrong within, I think it's under 2 years. It should not go wrong in under 2 years when it's supposed to be really a professional level microphone. And thirdly, if I did spend £145 on a replacement, what's to say, even without using it very much, it's going to break in another 12 to 24 months. Then that's another £145 down the drain for a product that really shouldn't have broken in the first place. But this is where I really get concerned because it's not just about this microphone anymore. Remember, this microphone, £340. So it's a bit of a sting if it's just broken and doesn't work and they won't repair it, replace it, whatever. Bit of a sting, but it's just a bit of a sting. Nothing compared to the sting if any of these go wrong. This lens was £1,400. This camera was £2,200. This lens was £2,700. This lens was over £2,000. And the Sony a7S III, still really the king of cameras in my experience, £3,800. So a lot of money that I've spent with Sony. In fact, let's add it up. Okay, a few moments later, a little over £12,500 on Sony equipment. For them to tell me, first of all, that it'll be £425 to replace a £340 product. And secondly, although they did concede, £145 to replace a product that I've used maybe 4 or 5 times. This, I mean, am I overreacting here? Is this something that they should just say, sorry about that, let's replace it for you? Or sorry about that, it's £30 to repair it, it's a microchip or whatever. Am I being unreasonable or should they really do something about it? I mean, if nothing else, this is not really great for their reputation because now I'm concerned as to what happens if one of these other products breaks. I mean, at the very least, they're going to quote me a percentage of the price of the product. And so I'm sort of worried about what they would quote me to repair it. If they're quoting £145 to repair a £340 product. Now, I understand there's parts and labor and all the rest of it, but that does leave me to worry. But just looking at this one here, I mean, I think I've had this 4 years maybe, and I used it pretty much daily for the first 2 years on my Black Belt Barrister videos and some of my Black Belt Secret videos. This still works perfectly, and it's a fantastic microphone. So using it daily, as opposed to 4 or 5 times when I took this one because I connected it to the ZV-E1, the Sony microphone, I used it maybe 4 or 5 times, because otherwise I was using, as you've probably seen in some of my videos, I've been using the DJI mics, this one or the previous model, or I've been using the Rode, or even the onboard microphones, because they're actually pretty good. But so I've literally used it 4 or 5 times. I know I'm rambling. I know I tend to ramble. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because I'm genuinely upset about this, and I just think that they should just replace it. Now, what's going to happen here is I'm going to have to make a decision on principle. Do I just let it go? It's a dead product. Do I pay the £145 knowing that it might well just go wrong again? Because if it was that feeble in the first place, maybe it just goes wrong again. Or do I sue them? I mean, it's not going to cost an awful lot to file a claim to sue them for this. And I would think that they'll probably just settle it as opposed to going to court, because it'll cost me £50 to file a claim for this with Money Claim Online, because over £300 up to £500, it would be £50. Or I could sue them for the value they've said that they would replace it with, but albeit that's an offer, so that wouldn't really work. So it would have to be really a claim for the full value that I've paid on the basis that it is not fit for purpose. Because my argument would be, if I've used it 4 or 5 times, and I can illustrate why I've used it 4 or 5 times, I've got all these other microphones and things like that. I've used other things for the majority of the time. There's no way this product is fit for purpose, having used it 4 or 5 times, if it goes wrong in under 2 years and starts making these noises. Now, this system online is designed to make it easy for people to do this. It's, you know, just simply file your claim online. Obviously, it's even easier for me to do it. I know exactly what I'm doing. It was just not fit for purpose, and they should refund it or replace it. So that's obviously time and effort and a bit of money. There'll be a hearing fee of maybe, there'll also be a hearing fee for the trial itself. So the small claims track between £300 and £500 is £59. So obviously £109 to get this to court, which, given the odds of winning the case as against paying the £145, it's really not here or there. It's £145 to guarantee a new one, or £109. I get those fees back. I don't get any other fees back, even as a litigant in person. Barristers can't charge the barrister rate for their own cases, but we can still get the litigant in person rate at £19 an hour, I think it is, but only if costs are recoverable, which on the small claims track, they're not recoverable anyway. I might be able to claim reasonable expenses going to and from court, but that would be it. I would get these fees back, the filing fee and the hearing fee, if I won the claim. But is it really worth it? I mean, is it a point of principle? What would you do if you're in my position, whether you're a barrister or not? What would you do? Would you keep pressing the company for a replacement or repair? Would you pay the £145? Am I being unreasonable? This is where probably one of the few times I've fairly humbly said to you, my viewers, what do you think? Help me out here. I feel aggrieved. I feel disappointed, having spent, as I just worked out, £12,500 with Sony, and this is the response. Obviously, they don't care. They don't know what I've spent with them. It doesn't matter. They're different products and all the rest of it. But it's the point of principle. I feel aggrieved. Let me know what you think. I'll be waiting to receive the comments. And if you've had anything like this yourself, if you've had this experience yourself and you've got something you're dealing with and you want it sounding out as well, let's discuss this together. We're a community. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.